Good day to you. I am Jalen with Integrated Mindfulness Institute, and I am here to share my thoughts on the thread of truth that goes through every modality, every bit of wisdom and knowledge, every research experiment, and so on and so forth. The interesting part is how we debate who is speaking the truth and who is not speaking the truth. One thing that I've found as the way of knowing how much truth there is in a certain speaker is by sensing their integrity ratio to their ego. And one sentence I always look for is if they say, "This is the way. You have to follow me," or something like that. Then I'm just like, oh, okay, that's the ego speaking. So it's pretty fun to be open to all different kinds of wisdom. I really appreciate hearing speakers of all sorts. And when I can recognize the vein of truth and how they take that thread, the thread of truth, how they take that thread and monopolize on it, and then kind of weave this whole tapestry very finely around this thread and in the attempt to make the whole thing the truth. And yet that's almost impossible. There has to be basically no ego. No ego, no self-serving desire within the teaching at all for it to be the whole truth. And still, there's the subconscious belief systems behind each teacher, even if they've worked their whole life on mastering these subconscious beliefs. There's still a layer that they need to get to, unless they're completely enlightened, which is kind of a rare and special treat. And then, there's the disciples and followers of these people who then debate who is enlightened and who isn't enlightened. So it's just really interesting to see how we as people function in following the thread, and how the complementary subconscious belief systems affect our ability to navigate. So, say your belief system has this fear-based background, and it's really rooted in you and very easy to follow someone who uses manipulation in the form of fear. And then it's almost impossible for someone with that belief system to not feel that it's completely true, because it's speaking to their belief system, which makes it appear true, because we want our belief system to be the truth. We want to feel that what we have formed as our belief system is fine, because changing our belief system is this huge undertaking, and it takes so much willpower. So why not find things that complement our belief system? Well, I guess I would say, well, if it brings you joy, true joy, not joy because you're making fun of someone and it gives you a giggle for a moment, but more, does it give you joy, deep, down in your heart, do you feel joy? I just saw a comment. I don't know what it said. I'm kind of new to this. In a way, I'm just doing it because it's fun for me so that I can record it for myself. So I can get these thoughts out in some fashion. So the fact that anyone's out there listening is great. Thank you. That's joyful, right? Yeah, so I came up with this little chant, and I'll just share it if I can think of the tune to it. Well, I can't think of it at this moment, so I'll just continue. But the idea of noticing what your belief system is so that you can shift it into who you want to be. If you decide that, oh, you know what, I'm really sick of being doubtful all the time, and I'm tired of following this line of thought that approves of my doubtfulness, I'm going to find another way. I want to shed this obstacle from the idea that I could have a joyful life. And so you go on your journey and you're walking along, and somebody says, okay, well, if you want to live a joyful life, you have to eat this certain kind of food every day, and then you'll feel more joyful. So you have the willpower to do that, and you're still not sure why, you're not fully joyful, so you go along your path and find someone else, and they say, oh, it doesn't matter what you eat. You have to focus on not looking at any fear. You have to only be happy. And so you go along and you're pretending you're happy all the time, and something inside is just nagging at you, and you just don't know why, and you just, okay, I don't know what to do now. And you go up to somebody who says, oh, you have to spill all your woes and over and over and over until they no longer trigger you. And so you go along and you're spilling your woes, and everything's feeling a lot worse. And I'm not feeling any more joyful at all. What's going on? And really, the true thread of truth, each of those have a thread, but if you were to take them all and weave a tapestry with all of them, you would realize that they each have a very important role in shifting your belief system. So how do you decide which modalities you're going to create this bowl of integrity so that you have the support you need in all the areas of your life? Well, I would say make sure that the bases are covered. Make sure that you have the nutrition for your body. The physical part of you is covered in the way that you eat. Make sure that your mental intake is being assessed and being open to observe whether it needs to shift. Finding teachers in that realm. And then there's the energy assessment, there's the emotional assessment, there's the spiritual assessment. You have to have all of these elements combined on top of being willing to look at the baggage that you're carrying. I've heard that you can just drop the baggage and go on. But I personally, from where I come from, what I've been through, I feel that I'm taking, well, it's difficult in the sense of actually dropping the baggage, because it's not this physical baggage that you actually let go of the handle and it's gone. Wouldn't that be nice, you know? No, it pretty much strings onto you and you're carrying it along even if you think you dropped it. And that's why I encourage self-assessment, so that you can notice if you really are still holding that baggage or not. And I feel that for me it's been a layer effect, and I do feel like an onion, and I just go through another layer and I'm like, oh, yay, I dropped another layer. That feels really good. And then I start feeling this intensity. It's kind of like a backwards onion in my mind's eye. I see it as a backwards onion where you're like kind of like stuck in the center of this onion. You're like, oh my God, I can't take any more pressure. I can't take any more pressure. And you just kind of push out of that middle layer. And then you're, oh, I've got more room. I can stretch around. And then you're like, oh, wait, I feel stuck in this membrane. And I just want to get out of it. I just want to get out of it. And then you push a little bit further and you have this next membrane. But right now you're just happy for the space. You're like, oh, I have more space. Yay. And then you're like, wait, there's another membrane. And you're like, push, push, push. And you get some help and some different modality of wellness and alternative healing. And it helps you push it again. And you're like, oh, yay. I've got more space. And then you're like, wait, I still am stuck, you know? So it's this onion, but an inside out onion, in a sense. The other day I was professing that I felt that I was stuck in this membrane. It was like an egg. I feel like this being in an egg, and I just want to bust out of it. I'm so... in the membrane, in my mind, the membrane is my old belief system. The membrane is my fear of disapproval. And I have my whole reason behind how I came up with this belief system from my childhood. And that's the same for all of us. And most of these belief systems happen before we're even 7. So we can't even go back, and in our mind, we can't logically go back to understand, but we can just sit with ourselves and say, okay, I'm up against a belief system. I don't think that I can succeed in this way because what's that fear that's holding me back? So then you get through that fear. And it's not that you dissect that fear and you go over all the details of it and you speak your trauma over and over. Some therapists, you can if you really want to, but you don't have to. You can just acknowledge that this is a fear, and okay, yeah, I mean, it connects to my childhood in some way. I can see how I came up with that. I'm really done with that fear now. I really do believe that good things can happen for me. I really do believe that things are going to work out or are working out. And then you can get through it. You can get through it on your own. You can get through it with a friend, a loved one. You can get through it with a modality leader. And as time goes on, I'll share my favorites. But I just really wanted to talk about that thread of truth and how we need to honor each other when we recognize this thread of truth. Somebody may, I don't know what it's called. It's some kind of trauma therapy where they have you vomit your trauma over and over and over. And it really works for some people, so please forgive me if it sounded like I was just making fun of it. For me, no way. It was just a constant trigger. I did it twice, and I was like, no, this is weird. No, it was not for me. But I can see how that would be helpful for somebody who wanted to really dedicate to that specific modality. It's all good, There's mindfulness, which you don't go into the detail. You just recognize the busyness of your mind and the busyness of your body. There's so many methods. It's amazing. And then, there's theories. If you look at conspiracy theories and you look at how it all shakes down, there's a thread of truth. There is a thread of truth in every conspiracy theory, in every way of believing, in every religion, in every spirituality. We all want to be speaking the truth. There's not anybody who's just straight up wants to lie to you and get you to listen. They believe for themselves that what they're saying is true. And that's what allows it to be believable, because they believe it. So it's this navigation system of how do you resonate with what's true for you, what's true for them, honor that, recognizing that there is a thread of truth, recognizing the thread of truth, and then being able to weave your own tapestry of support in all of the realms that you need to live a whole life, to be a whole, aligned being, to have your mind, body, spirit, energy, and emotion all integrated, working with you for your inspired manifestation of being a joyful, living being, no matter what's happening around you, no matter what pain is within, without. We are here for a temporary experience. We are not going to escape death. This is not going to happen. There's no reason to even try. So why not just enjoy the ride? Enjoy being here. Enjoy the bad times, the good times. That's what it's all about, right? Being able to sit with a bad moment and be like, okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to meditate and get out of this one now. Right? It's all a game. How do you want to play? Who are you playing with? You know? All right. So that's my thought on the thread of truth. And I'm enjoying learning how to use my camera. And I really don't even know where the camera is, so I don't know where to look. But like I said, this is really for me. I'm entertaining myself here, and that's all that really matters. So, peace be with you. May you find joy. May I find joy. And if I can remember the song I wrote today, I'll sing it for a moment. Let's see. Things are working out for me. 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 We are made of energy. Things are working out for me. Things are working out for me. We are made of energy. Things are working out for me. Things are working out for me. Things, how does it go? I don't remember. All right. Namaste. Satnam, Aho, Amen. May we all realize that we are blessed. There's a lot to be grateful for, and sending love to all those who are struggling to remember what there is to be grateful for.